Hi everyone, Susan Campfield here with SueStampfield.com. Welcome to my stamp room. Come on in, we're going to create together. I'm so glad that you're here with me tonight. We're going to do a fun fold card, super cute, and I'm excited to share it with you. Thank you for making and sending handmade cards. You are making the world a kinder place with every card that you send. So thank you for all that you're doing. You're amazing. I hope in these videos you get a little inspiration so that you can make and send even more cards and touch more people's lives. We're gonna make a cute autumn themed card tonight, so let's dive in. Before I do that, I want to tell you I'm actually not live with you. I am pre-recording this video for a very exciting and important reason. I am you're going to be watching this tomorrow night, which is Tuesday, and I will be in Salt Lake City for the Million Achievers, the Million Sales Retreat. So a very small percentage of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators reach the $1 million personal sales milestone, and we get a lot of fun things, including we get to design our own stamp set, but we also get a special retreat, and so that is this week. So while you're watching this, I'm going to be out to dinner with the other achievers and with Sarah, our CEO, and Shelley, the founder of the company. So I'm super excited. They've got an amazing week planned for us. I can't wait to share with you when I get back on. We get back on Saturday afternoon. I'm planning to go live on Saturday night, and we'll make a card together, and I can fill you in on all of the adventures. I also hope to post on my Facebook page, Sue Stampfield, over on Facebook, my page, my group, somewhere over there. I'm going to try. I'm going to relax and enjoy it. My husband is coming with me, so it's going to be really fun. But I want to share this fun card with you. So I know you guys show up for my videos, and I want to make sure I'm showing up for you, even if I happen to be traveling. So it's important to me that I do these so that you're not missing that creative inspiration, right? Okay, it's late, you guys. It's very late. We won't talk about how late it is right now, but so I apologize in advance if I trip over my words, but I'm excited to share this card. So quick reminder, I do send free project sheets that match up with some of my videos. You can subscribe at SueStampfield.com and click on free project sheets. All right, let's go ahead and go to the desktop. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, wait. Okay, that doesn't work, Sue. Hang on. Let's go back to me while I turn on my camera. Doesn't work if you don't turn on the camera. Oh, goodness. All right, it might take it a minute. Let's see if it's... hey, it's back. Okay, excellent. Sorry about that. Did I mention it's late? I do have some things in my suitcase, so hey, that's a win, right? Not everything, but some things. So tonight we're going to create with the Fluffy Squirrel bundle. This adorable bundle is in the new mini catalog, and it is a punch bundle. So I'm flipping this over because with my reflective lights, it's hard to see, but it's a squirrel and an acorn. And so this is the squirrel that matches the punch. And this stamp, as you will see, is a fill-in coloring. So we're going to be doing that here in a minute. And this acorn is the one that matches the punch. There's also a secondary squirrel. This would be one that you would either just stamp on your card, or you could fussy cut it if you wanted to cut it out. And then we have a stump, a little present, a flower. You can see the squirrel looks to me like he's meant to be holding something. So these are things that he can hold. I'm not entirely sure what this is. It does remind me of kind of the design and the pattern on the top of an acorn. So maybe that's what it's for. I haven't used that one yet. It'd make a great background. And then we have a few greetings. So let's go ahead and create. We're going to start with our squirrel because that just seems like a really good place to start, doesn't it? So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat here. This is just cushy foam, and you get a better image with the photopolymer when you use this pad under your stamping, because the photopolymer, unlike the rubber mount, doesn't have that built-in cushion, so this is just going to help it stamp better. So I'm going to take the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm going to take the Outline Squirrel stamp. My dogs are tired, otherwise I wouldn't be getting away with saying this word so many times, because they absolutely adore to chase squirrels. And I often use squirrels as an to get them outside to go potty when I need them to do that. And they fall for it every single time because there's usually one out there. Or after dark, I say rabbit. So there we've got our cute little squirrel stamped. And now we're going to do this fill-in stamp. So I didn't even clean mine. You can see that it's a very solid image. I'm going to ink this up in pecan pie. Now here in Minnesota, we have gray squirrels. We have more brownish ones. We have the smaller red squirrels. Those are the really destructive ones if they get in your house and nest. I've seen black squirrels and white squirrels. Those are more rare. But all manner of squirrels. I'm going with pecan pie, which is kind of a reddish brown, which reminds me of squirrels. I'm going to have to move this a little closer to me, guys. I'm going to try to keep it on screen. And you might see my head in the camera here as I lean in and make sure I'm lined up. And then I'll try to lean back. So I'm just lining up the foot on the bottom, the tip of the tail on the left, and the ear on the right. And then just give that a firm press. You can hold it to your paper for the count of 1, 2, 3, just to make sure that ink is transferring well. And then we'll remove that, and there we have our cute little squirrel. Now, the squirrels in our yard don't have a white tummy. They don't have a white tip of their tail. So I'm actually going to take a marker. This is the light crumb cake marker. And I'm actually just going to get the cap off, fill in around the eye, and just turn that a crumb cake color. And I'll get his tummy here. Okay, and then I'm also going to even do the tail. You could leave the white if you like it. I'm even going to do the inside of his ear. All the parts I'm going to color with crumb cake. And so now I've got my little squirrel there. Super cute. The other thing, if you didn't want to color, you could actually, this one I stamped on basic beige cardstock. And then I didn't have to color the tummy because it was already colored basic beige just by stamping on there. It does change just slightly the color, I think. Yeah, but it looks good. All right, so we're going to take our squirrel and acorn punch here, and we're going to go ahead and punch out our squirrel. So I do that with the punch upside down so that I can line it up and make sure I'm all matched up there, and then I squeeze it partially closed to just hold the paper in place while I double check it, and then punch it all the way down. Again, upside down so I can see my cute little squirrel. Now, this is a photopolymer stamp, so if you prefer, you can actually punch it first and then stamp it. I have horrendous eyesight, and that does not work well for me, but some people prefer that, so it's entirely up to you. You can play around with it and see which works best for you. So we got our cute little, it's so cute, right? So we got our cute little squirrel there. Let's go ahead and do that acorn. So acorn stamp right here. And I'm just going to do that the similar way. And then I'm going to stamp it with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, just like I did the squirrel, on just a scrap of basic white here. And then this one, there is no fill-in stamp, so I'm actually going to color it. Now I'm going to color it with, there's a lot of different, I played out with all sorts of different combinations of acorns, because when you look at acorns, depending on what kind of acorn tree or oak tree it is, acorn tree, really, Sue, really? I'm a little tired. What kind of oak tree it is, the acorns look a little different. The ones I'm used to are pretty red. So I'm going to do a light crumb cake for the cap of the mushroom. Oh my goodness, you guys. All right. We should start taking a sip every time I say the wrong word. We're going to do light crumb cake on the cap of the, not mushroom, but acorn. And then I'm going to do light Cajun craze on the bottom part. Dark Cajun craze also looks good. I've done both. Or you can do pecan pie on this matchup. Just really depends on your project and your preferences. All right, so I've got my little acorn colored. Let me pull that up here real quick with the two markers that I used. And I'm going to take the, and I use the Stampin' Blends. You could also use regular Stampin' Write markers. Those are being retired, though, so just make sure you've picked up your favorites, the ones that are missing from your collection. I'm going to just position this in the punch so that it's lined up with the little acorn part of the punch. These little bits, I don't care about. They're going to get punched out too, because this is a builder punch, and I'm totally fine with that. But all I care about is that little acorn that we just colored. There it is right there. Okay, so we've got our little acorn. We've got a squirrel. You know, right? You know he's going to be holding that acorn. All right, so we've got that. While I'm at it, I'm going to do a little more punching before we start our card. As I said, our card is a fun fold card, so I'll talk about that in a minute. I decided to use all punches on this card because that is our, with the squirrel punch, that was kind of our theme going there. So my paper trimmer is trying to fall on me. And it successfully fell. Good job, paper trimmer. Oh gosh, you guys, seriously. All right, I'm going to punch a 1 3/4 inch circle punch out of this same scrap of basic white. I don't know, this one was about 3 inches, and I'm going to get lots of punches out of it. Okay, so I've got my 1 3/4. That's going to be for my greeting. I'm going to grab another squirrel. No, I'm going to grab another circle punch. This is the 2 inch circle punch, and I'm going to do a white circle. All right, so I've got those. I love circle punches. They are so versatile and useful and quick. All right, so I've got these guys. Let's slide those over there. I'm also going to punch some Cajun Craze circles. So I'm going to do a big one. This is the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. Okay, and I'm also going to punch a 2 inch circle. Fantastic. There we go. We are off to the races here, friends. Okay, I'm going to just get some things out of my way, and I do want to stamp a greeting here. So we're going to use the fluffy squirrel. I'm not doing a birthday card. That would be cute to do on the inside, but I'm going to do May You Gather Happiness, which if you wanted to do a birthday card, that would be a good matchup. I am not doing a birthday card, so I had to get a little creative on my inside greeting, but I do like that wish of May You Gather Happiness. I just have to find it. Oh, found it. Take a sip, everyone. I have located the May You Gather, that stamp. Oh boy. All right, we can do this. We can do this. All right, let's go ahead and stamp May You Gather Happiness. And I'm using Cajun Craze ink for that. You also could do pecan pie, which is the color of our squirrel. Totally your choice. I'm going to be layering it on this circle. That's why I chose that. These two circles are for Mr. Squirrel to hop onto here with his little acorn. So we're starting to build our card. I want to trying to get all of the coloring and stamping out of the way before I get to card assembly. Sorry if my voice is faint there. I was leaning over to get this next piece of paper. This one I want to stamp some words on, but before I stamp some words on it, I'm going to add a little bit of Designer Series paper across the top. So this piece right here, now we're going to start talking sizes. A shout out to our wonderful moderator, Mary Nash. She's on YouTube in the live comments dropping these measurements. And assuming I remember, I will show them on the screen at the end as well. So this is the insert piece. It's 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm going to put a piece of patterned paper at the top of this. This is 3/4 inch by 3 3/4. And this paper is from the Gathering Together Designer Series paper. That paper has a lot of gold elements in it. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I'm choosing to use the side that just has the Cajun Craze with the oak leaves on it. Kind of goes with my theme here, so let me track down my adhesive right where it was supposed to be, but absolutely take a sip. I lose things all the time, so we play a little game here called the Found It game, and when I lose something and find it again, we all take a sip. Or tonight we're also expanding that game, so if I say something incorrect, which is going to be a lot. All right, so we've got that adhered to the top. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And the sentiment I'm using is from this stamp set called Sentimental Framing. Comes with, it's a bundle, but this is just the word portion of it. It's got a bunch of really cool dies, and I'm using the words wishing you all the best. So on the front's going to say may you gather happiness. The inside is going to say wishing you all the best. So let's go ahead and ink this up in Cajun Craze, and we're going to stamp that near the top of this insert piece. Oh gosh, am I going to be able to get that straight, you guys? I think I can. I've got the grid paper underneath me to help, but I've been doing a really lousy job of stamping straight on the last few videos. Yay! Okay, I'm very happy with that. That looks straightish to me. All right, so we've got that piece stamped. All right, now the fun and games begin. We're going to start building our card. So let me just, I don't need any ink pads anymore. This is awesome. We've got that all, I'm kind of doing it backwards. I'm doing all the decorative bits first, and now we're going to work on construction. All right, so let's bring in our card. We are doing a slider card, a pocket slider again. So I did this one back in the spring during celebration with the Terrific Toadstool bundle, and you can see that slides up and the hidden message is revealed. So this one you could do the same with the squirrel and have this say the go nuts, it's your birthday. We're going to do ours a little bit different. Now I did do one recently, I had a whole series of them actually that were Halloween cards. Same theme here where it slides up. This one we did modify it a little bit so that we could have the little bat tab and yet it would still fit in an envelope. So let's do a pocket slider squirrel card. I'm going to bring in my cardstock here. Oh, there was my piece of paper for acorns. I forgot I cut that. Whoopsie, we didn't need it. We had another piece. All right, so I have a piece of early espresso here, and it is 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to score it. One moment while I climb down to the floor and grab my paper trimmer that went flying a short time ago. Let's see. Okay, excellent. They bounce well. It's all good. All right, we're going to slide these all out of the way for now. All right, so I've got my paper trimmer here. We're going to do a little scoring. So I'm going to flip up the paper guide, and I'm going to score this at 4 inches and 8 inches. So I'm going to flip out the ruler on the side here so that I can see that 8-inch mark. So I'm just going to slide my paper here, and I'm going to do 4 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to slide it over to the 8-inch mark. The finished size of this card is 4 inches by 5.5. So in the US, standard cards are 4.25 by 5.5. So it's slightly less wide than a standard card, but so minimal most people are not going to know. So we've got one score line there at the 4 and one score line on the 8. All right. So let's go ahead and put this aside. We're going to need it again in a second. So trying to find a safe place to put it where it's not going to fall. All right. So let's go ahead and crease on these score lines here. There are lots of sirens outside. I hope you can't hear all that. I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Let's go ahead and crease that. And then we'll go ahead and crease on this one. Hopefully all is well out there. All right, so we've got these fold lines. We're doing it as mountain folds on both of them, okay? This tab on the side is going to be important for our construction, and it's going to help adhere the card closed, okay? Got a little shred of paper. I'm just going to trim that off. I think my big paper cutter that I cut this on needs a new blade. There we go. All right, so we got that trimmed, and we're going to just adhere that. So before we do that, I'm going to open it back. Hang on, I got to think. That hurts. Okay, right here. This is the front. The tab on the right, center score line on the left. And I'm going to adhere a piece of Designer Series paper to this. This designer paper is also from the Gathering Together Designer Series paper. The back side of this one is gorgeous. but we're going to go squirrely here, and we're going to use the side that looks like tree bark, okay? Now we're going to be making an internal cut in this card that will make our squirrel slide. And so we don't want to put any adhesive on the interior part of this piece. So I'm just going to do it around the perimeter. Oh, found it. Here it is, right literally under my hand almost. So let's go ahead and go around the world here, not quite, with our adhesive, and stick that on. This piece of a designer series paper is, I've now buried my measurements, good job, Sue, is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. Right? And I've got that stuck on. All right, our next step, is if you've watched this card be made before, is where we cut that slit. And I know it sounds scary and hard. It's really not. So we're going to pop up our paper guide here. We're going to rotate our card so that the tab is now on the left. And we're going to slide up the edge of that tab to line up with the 1.5 inch mark. Okay, so I'm lined up with the 1.5 inch mark. I'm not going to drop this down yet because I don't want to cut from the top. I want to cut an interior cut. So I'm going to slide my cutting blade down to, let's see if I can show you here, to the 1 inch mark. Hang on, let me line this up here, put everything down and in place, and then I will, oh, there's the 1 inch right there. Oh, you got to see my head again. All right, so I have, can you even see that? Not sure it's showing on the camera at all, but there's a little groove on the side of the blade housing, let's say, and that shows you where the point of the blade is. So if you line that up with the 1, and then you're gonna start cutting 1 inch in, and you're gonna slide it all the way down to 4.5. Double check. Measure twice, cut once, right? 1 inch to 4.5. Yep. So here's the 4.5 inch mark right here. I don't know if you're even going to be able to see that. If I tilt it right, no, not really. Just gonna have to take my word for it. There's the 4. You can see it in the light there, and I'm lined up with the 4.5. Now I'm cutting through 2 layers. I'm cutting through cardstock and a layer of designer paper. So I'm going to just make sure it cut by sliding back up to that 1 inch mark, and just to make sure that that panel did indeed cut all the way, and it did, so that's good. Now remember, when we put it in here, we flipped it around, so we're going to turn it back over so that tab is now on the right side. Okay, let's put our paper trimmer aside, and we're going to bring in our mechanism. Pretty fancy word for a little scrap of white cardstock. This is 3 inches by 3 3/4, and I'm going to widen that slit, and I'm going to slide my little piece in almost all the way. So I just have a chunk of it sticking out, and on that chunk I'm going to add a dimensional. This is where we're going to be sticking the circle with our squirrel in a little bit. All right, so I've got my dimensional on there. I'm going to open this back up, and here's the other side. It's not adhered, it's just loose in here. And I'm going to take, oh boy, where is this at now? I need a sip, guys. I'm thirsty. Okay, oh, tear and tape. Here we go, found it. Take a sip. I hope you let me know what was in your cup. We're going to take a piece of this tear and tape, and we're going to put it right on that exposed portion of the white piece, our little mechanism. Can you see that? If I tilt it, darn lights. Anyway, piece of tear tape right on there. We want this to be straight. So if it's wonky, just adjust it so that it's straight. And we're gonna pull the back off of that. So I now have this sticky piece. We're gonna bring this piece back in. Where are you rolling? Always with the rolling. And this is going to go inside our card. So I'm going to flip it. Oh, I forgot something. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. I'm going to punch a little divot. Got kind of like a live grenade here because I pulled the backing off of that. So I'm going to be careful so I don't stick it to my desk. But I'm going to grab my 1 3/4 inch circle punch. It's not going to blow up or anything. It's just, you know, could stick where I don't want it to. And I'm going to center that between this score line and that score line, and I'm going to punch out just about 1/4 inch. Now I'm going to choose to just punch that out of the front. You can do that way before that you can do it before you even cut the slit. You can also do it where you punch it a second time and do it out of both sides like I did on this one. Or you can just punch it out of the one side like I did on this one. So I'm just going to do the one, and don't want to fold that close, Sue. You got a sticky piece back here. All right, now we're ready for our insert. So we've got wishing you all the best, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay this down, and I want the, again, centered between the score lines, and I want it just below, just a tiny hair below the top part of my card. And I'm going to go ahead and just give that a press. It's not super centered, but doesn't even matter. There's a little more room on this side than that side. It's totally fine. All right, so that is now stuck. So now this little white piece here, when this is pulled up, will slide up. So that's where we can attach our squirrel. So now that we've got this interior bit already, we can seal this closed. So I'm going to fold that tab over and put some tear and tape on it. Tear and tape. Okay, here we go. Oh boy, now I'm singing. That's really scary because I cannot carry a tune. That's why I sit in the back at church, because I like to belt out the hymns, but I do not. I'm not good at it. My mom's a good singer. My sister Karen's a really good singer. Me, no, I got dad's voice. So, all right, we're gonna pull off the backing here. I'll stick to stamping for sure. And we're going to peel that off, okay? And then we'll just seal our card closed. All right. Okay, so that's where the pocket comes in. It's a pocket, and it is a slider. So now let's bring in all these fun bits and pieces and finish up our card, all right? So we've got our largest circle, which is 2 3/8 inch circle punch, and we have our 2-inch circle. We're going to stick those two together. Ah, here it is. Found it. Take a sip. Goodness. All right. What else can I lose tonight? All right. So we're going to pop that right on there. Fantastic. I'm just trying to center it on there, and I'm going to go ahead and pull off the backing on this dimensional on our little mechanism there, and I'm going to stick on my circle. Okay, that is adhered. And now I'm going to take my words and I'm going to stick them on. So these were punched the 1 3/4 inch punch, circle punch, which is the same one we did our little divot for. You actually could use any of the circles to cut the divot, just might be a little bit wider depending on which circle. And I'm centering this on a 2-inch circle. Okay. So this circle and this circle are the same size, but we're going to stagger them like so. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this greeting on before I add my squirrel, because that'll help me decide where to put the squirrel. So I'm going to grab a couple of mini dimensionals. Oh, I got 3. Don't want 3. Not yet anyway. And we're going to go ahead and put those 2 mini dimensionals right here on the upper edge of this circle. Pull the backs off. And stick this on right here. All right, now we're ready for our Mr. Squirrel here. And that tail can go right up into the greeting, and you can just kind of find, I don't want to cover up the words. And so now that I know where I want to put him, I'm going to flip him over and I'm going to add a couple of dimensionals right on his body. I'm not going to do one on the tail because I want it to overlap this piece. And this is already up on a dimensional, so there we go. And I'm just going to slide him right in here. Excellent. So a little squirrel on there, and now we're going to take that cute little acorn that we made. And again, if you wanted this a different color if you want it more pecan pie. Lots of color choices. I went with the light chrome cake and the light Cajun craze. I'm going to put a little mini dimensional on the back of my little acorn there. Peel that off. And I'm going to slide it, just the stem, under his paw, so it looks like he's holding on to that little acorn. All right, so now we're going to add a few more little embellishments to this, but let's check our mechanism, make sure all is working well. I'm going to just grab this in the divot, and it slides up and says, wishing you all the best, and there's room to sign your name there. If you wanted to write a message as well, you could put a panel on the back and write a message there. Now, to make the pulling a little bit easier, I'm going to add a piece of trim. This is part of the, I was going to say Amber Autumn, and that's not right. The Autumn Toile Suite, which contains the Amber Autumn bundle, but this is called the, what's it called? Irregular Weave Trim. And it just kind of reminds me of like grass or straw or something fallish that would be in the field with a little squirrel. You could also use the, with this Gathering Together suite, there's 2 baker's twines that came in that. One is Early Espresso. That would also work nicely on this. So I need a hole. We have this group of punches. Let me see what the name of these are called. Hole Punch Assortment. What a name. So they're little tiny. You've got a little 1/8" circle here, like so. You've got a little slot that has a little circle kind of thing on it, and you've got one that's just a slot. I'm going to try the one I did before. That worked pretty well. Maybe I should stick with that. Was this one that has this little, it's like a slot with a half a hole on it. So let's give that a go. When I slide it in here, I think you can see it better. So I kind of want to make sure I've got it centered-ish. Right there is, that looks about right. And just punch that out. Reminds me of like when you buy something at the shops that's hung on a peg. It's got that kind of shape, right? And so we're going to go ahead and grab a piece of this irregular trim, and we're just going to thread it through that slot. I think you could also use the slot with this trim. If I was using the baker's twine, I'd probably use the hole. But I'm just going to slide a piece through, and I'm going to tie it in a knot. Now this is irregular and like straw, so you need to pull a little firmly to make sure that it does go snug for you. So I'm just going to tilt it up a little bit here, so I've got my little tails, and I'm just going to grab a pair, I guess this is ribbon. It's very stiff. It almost feels more like paper, sort of. And I'm going to sneeze, you guys. Maybe not. I'm going to trim those tails off at an angle. Okay. There we go. Oh, I'm going to sneeze again. Fall allergies are kicking in for me big time. Oh, there it is. I knew it was coming. Can't make it up, you guys. Seriously. All right, so there we have. I don't know, can you even see it on the camera? It's the same color as my desk, isn't it? So it's just going to go right down in that little divot, and then you can easily pull on that piece of trim and slide up the card, or the insert piece. And it only goes this far because that's the stopper. We only cut the slit that far, and then slide it back in. I love cards that move. They're super fun. Now we're just going to add a little bit of sparkle on the front. This is totally optional. I'm going to use the Cajun Craze in gold dots that come as part of the Gather Together suite of products. I don't know if it's showing up. It's like little gold dust flecks in a Cajun Craze embellishment. You could also use, let me grab them, these cool streaked dots that we've been having fun playing with that are part of the Autumn Toile suite. They look like little chunks of wood. That would also be fun on this card. Good to have options, right? So I'm going to take a big one here, and I'm going to stick it right by the M, and I'm going to take a little one, and stick it right above that. And then I'm going to take a medium one and just pop it over here. So just kind of randomly sticking on some little gems. Now you don't want to put them back here because they're going to get in the way when it slides. So you do want to keep them on these pieces. You could put one down here though, absolutely. Lots of options there. Let's bring in the measurements for this card. Now there's lots of things that you could slide. The gingerbread man would be cute as a slider. What are they called? The cute little critters that are the snowman, the elf, and the Santa. Those would be cute as sliders. So let's pop our directions right here. I apologize if I neglected to give you any of the measurements because I'm a little tired. So, all right, there we go. If you want to capture a screenshot there. Okay, wait, I'm going to slide this down a little bit and pull this up so you can see it in action. Oh, let's go a little higher. Go all the way. All right, does that fit on the screen? I hope so. It kind of does. Okay, there is with it open. So ignore this bit. That was from a different card. I just realized that is incorrect. If you did the go nuts, it's your birthday, that would probably be about right, but we didn't. So hold on, I'm gonna adapt it. Fixed it. All right, grab a screenshot, everyone. It is now 100% accurate, I think. All right, excellent. And then I'll slide this back down. Awesome. All right, you guys are great. I appreciate you all so much. Can't wait to share. Let me get back on the camera here. I can't wait to share with you on Saturday night, 7:30 Central Time, tell you all about my amazing week at the Million Sales Retreat. Again, this is a very small percentage of demonstrators that ever earn this, and I am just so overwhelmed and honored to get to be part of this, and it's all because of you, my fantastic viewers, and all the support that you give me, and my amazing customers, my fantastic team. I'm so grateful, so grateful. So can't wait to share with you Saturday night. Hope you can join me 7:30 Central Time. See you then, everyone, and thank you for making and sending handmade cards. You're absolutely making the world a kinder place with every card that you send. Bye-bye.